You're listening to an Inspire FM podcast, making available our popular programs from our daily broadcast on Inspire FM.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Sisters Speak on Inspire 105.1 FM. And you're here with me, Faiza.
Me, Lamisa.
And me, Mariam.
And everyone seems a little bit flustered.
No, we're actually
Are we all
fine.
good?
Yes.
Right, so thank you for tuning in to Inspire 105.1 FM. And this week on Sisters Speak, we will be discussing challenges and failures.
Yeah, and
Yes.
the element of success.
And the element of success
in there
as well.
yeah.
But before we get into that, Mariam, what is the...
What is a show about? So a show
Okay.
is a platform for Muslim girls to voice their own opinions on current events and issues, and even form discussions on general topics such as religion, culture, politics, and social media. We want to note that all opinions and views are our own, and we respect all other or opposing views.
Yes, so please do join in on our discussion today, and let us know your thoughts on any of the topics that we discussed today. How can they do that, Lamisa, or should I do
You
that?
can call or text in on 07779 481 Actually, if you wanted to call and join the discussion, it's on 01582 481 and also you can
Join
comment under our
yeah.
Facebook live stream. We are live. So
We are live. So yeah, let us know your thoughts, opinions, views on any of the topics that we discussed today. So before we get into the main topic, we do this little segment on our show every week, and it's just a little segment called a thought for the week. So it's just something maybe we've learned that's beneficial to others. Maybe we want to rant. You know, there's no harm in ranting. But yeah, just something to share with the viewers. And if any of the listeners and viewers want to join in as well, let us know your thought for the week that you think might be beneficial for ourselves first and foremost, and others, then do get involved. So who wants to go first?
maybe Pfizer should go first.
I think so
Yeah.
too. I agree.
Ganging up on me again. Send help. This is why I miss Amina. Like, normally she's here.
Well, I mean, I went through a whole phase where she'd be like, thought for the week, Lamisa.
I think we're just returning the favour, you know? Giving you a chance to speak on Sister Speak.
You're ganging up on me, basically. Anyways.
Oh, guys, today she's wearing balloon sleeves, just putting it out there. Ooh, wow. It's very comfortable. Apparently.
Moving on to the thought for the week. I think my thought for the week is, you know, do I have one right now? Not at this current moment in time.
Right. Okay, so I guess
back
it's
to me then.
Guess it's my turn.
Yes, Lamisa, thank
so
you.
my thought for the week is that it is very, very hot, as most of you know already. It's
Yes.
boiling, and I don't know, I feel like this weather is slowly, like, when it gets to really hot weather, especially in the UK, I feel like I'm never mentally prepared for it. So even though, like, you know, you could do a lot of fun stuff, I just feel really lethargic during these times. Like, I don't want to move, I don't want to do anything.
The weather's just beautiful.
Is it beautiful, really?
No.
You just had a horrible tube journey.
Awful.
But yeah, I just feel like, you know, there are a lot of things that you can do in the summer, I feel
Yeah.
like, because, well, I feel like now we're getting more and more hot weather, aren't we, during the year? We don't necessarily get as much cold weather, but yeah, you know, I guess my thought for the week was I just feel quite lazy because of this hot weather.
And my thought of the week, maybe I'll just extend on her, because my thought of the week is the hot weather as well.
Wow.
But because it reminds me of Medina. I was telling Faiza before the show, because I just came from Umrah, alhamdulillah, in April.
Alhamdulillah.
So it just reminded me of Mecca and Medina and how hot it was. But when you're in Umrah, you don't really, obviously you feel hot, but you're so focused on performing the deeds, and you know you're there for Allah, and it's like your bubble. And it's crazy how, like, you experience, it sounds strange, but you experience heat in a different way, because it feels so pure, because you're going towards Allah, but even in just walking towards the Kaaba, you feel that heat, but all you can think about is, you know, we're walking towards the Kaaba, we're going to do tawaf, which means like circling around the Kaaba. And today I'm wearing my abaya that I bought from Saudi, so I'm just feeling quite nostalgic today, because I'm just remembering how I felt in Saudi, and, you know, that connection I felt. And I feel
Yeah.
that I don't know, it's just because one aspect of it was heat, so it's just kind of nostalgic.
Do you have any tips for people who are perhaps going on Hajj? Because Inspire FM have their Hajj prep theme going on right now. So, you know, obviously it wasn't Hajj, it was Umrah, but
Yeah.
perhaps going to Saudi Arabia or, you know.
So the tips I would say, because alhamdulillah, that was my second time. If you've been to Hajj once already and alhamdulillah you're blessed to go again, I don't expect it to be the same, because that's the misconception I had. So the first time I went, I had different feelings, and the second time I went, I had completely contrasting feelings. And it took me a bit of time to adjust, and I mentioned that on the show. In terms of practicality, I would say, you know, take a little handbag to put your shoes
Or a
and
backpack.
no, just a light bag, because when you go into the haram, in the masjid, and so women and men are separate, you don't want to leave your shoes outside. You
Yeah,
want to
of
carry
course.
it with you, because there's guards that check your they check your if you have a mobile, but if you just stuff it in your bag, they won't really see. But because you need it. No, it's because you need it. You
From
need
Mario.
no, it's because you need it, because if your family
Because you need to get lost, yeah.
if you get it's really really big, so if you get lost, you need that contact. Carry a little water bottle. Try to fill your bottle up with Zamzam water, because it always keeps you hydrated. No matter how much you drink of it, you don't usually go to the loo. I know it sounds a bit weird, but it's true. And you know, some people like to take like boiled sweets to like keep their mouths because you
Yeah.
can get dry. So take maybe some boiled sweets and just chew on them if you feel hot and if you feel like dehydrated. One thing I would say is, don't go to Hajj or Umrah with any expectations or any standards in your head. Go open-minded, because you don't know what's going to happen, and you don't know what feelings you're going to have, because it's your journey towards Allah. So go with the open mind, and preparation is so important, and it's a personal journey. Just because, you know, maybe you're going to Hajj with a group of people, and they may be preparing and you might feel underprepared, but if you know your personal thing, for example, if you feel that prayer isn't your strongest pursuit or strongest aspect about yourself, work on that before you go to Umrah. So, you know, even just developing that connection, because remember, your Hajj is all about coming close to Allah, and you know, it doesn't have to materialize the way other people are doing it. It's your personal journey.
Definitely. Thank you for that. Those are really good tips. So anyone who is
And
going
pray for
to
us,
Hajj and
Sister
Umrah,
Speak, that we all can go to Hajj as well, inshallah.
inshallah, one
inshallah.
day. So I think now, circling back, I have found a thought for the week, and it is related to social media.
Okay.
Only because I'm only bringing this up because I think I had a conversation with someone, and it was just based on this, and it kind of just made me kind of think about it again. And it was just about how social media can make you very, like, it blurs your perception of reality, basically. So the way you're seeing things on social media perhaps could be is what you'd kind of expect from the world, when in reality it's nothing like that. You see snippets of different people's lives, literally a picture, that's it. But then it's like, oh, but I want that too, I want to be like that too. But why? Like, why do we have this perception? Why do we see social media like that? And then also, it's this respect thing as well on social media. For example, when you meet someone and you'd have your conversation, and it's like, oh, what do you do? I feel like sometimes in that conversation, when you're discussing what do you do, like profession-wise, your respect levels either go high or go low, unintentionally. I don't know. That's just a thought.
No, but
Food for
could you
thought.
elaborate? What do you mean?
So, for example, we're having a conversation. I'm like, oh, I'm an example. Oh, yeah, I'm a postman. Or, oh, I'm a teacher. Or, oh, I'm a banker. Think about it, you'd be like, oh, okay. Oh, wow. Like, you know, your reactions are different, and the way you behave after changes.
But do you think that social media influences that? Is that what you're trying to
A
say?
little bit. No, I'm saying that was another thought.
Oh.
Or
This
do
is
you,
another
do you
thought.
think that's greater, like that effect is sort of amplified through the conversation in social media rather than in real life?
Yeah, definitely.
Because if it was I feel like people still draw those conclusions
yeah.
in real life. Like people will still.
Yeah. and the exaggeration.
They'll still draw those prejudices, but at the same time, I feel like because you're face to face with someone, it's a bit more difficult to apply them.
Yeah,
and
so-
everything on social media seems to be exaggerated. Oh, like for example, I'm a painter, but on social media it's like I'm an interior designer with so and so and so and so. Like it's just
It's very easy to inflate
and manipulate what
Yeah.
you're saying and you're doing. And I feel like it's so easy to become influenced by, for example, what someone posts up as like, oh, I want to do that too. Oh, I want to do this too. Like, yes, there's some good in it, but at the same time, remember that you're not seeing the whole picture. You're only seeing like snapshots. You're only seeing like a few words.
Don't you think the culture sort of shifted a bit? Because before it used to more be about television and what people see on television.
Yeah.
But not everyone would watch television for
That's
the
true.
amount of times that
Yeah.
the amount of time that we spend on social media. I feel like social media's made it so much more. It's
Easy,
made it a lot
yeah.
easier for us to take those influences and to want to be like that. And it's
Yeah.
made it a lot easier for us to have that mindset.
Because it manipulates our expectations and it manipulates our reality. Like, you can't live a certain lifestyle because someone else is living it, and that's what is perceived on social media. You
I
know,
also feel
like you're in your own world. You're
Yeah.
in like your reality is completely different to someone else's reality. No two lives are the same.
But I also feel that, you know, you should be really careful on who you follow on
Yeah.
social media. I think that's another topic.
No, but I
in
think
itself.
sometimes it even springs up.
Because it springs up because it's what you're looking at from beforehand. So Instagram suggests, or
Yeah.
social media suggests what
Yeah.
kind of things you're looking at. So
No, but sometimes it's unintentional.
sometimes
like it
it's
will pop up.
unintentional. Yeah. So I feel like it's really, really important to. I mean, if it's something, say for example, you're very strict in what you follow in social media, and a post that is completely, I don't know, outlandish pops up, it'll be easier for you to kind of disregard it because you don't look at those kind of things, or you don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't interest you.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas if you have some sort of similarity in terms of interests in that post,
Then it's
then
like,
you're it's like,
yeah.
ooh, what's that?
You're
And
attracted to it in
you're
a
more
way.
you're attracted
intrigued,
to
yeah.
you're more attracted to it, more intrigued. And I feel that it's so important that we govern what we follow, because those are thoughts that are fed in our mind
Yeah.
subconsciously.
Very true.
So we're spending
100%.
hours and hours on social media,
Yeah.
and we think we're wasting time,
Like,
but
what
we don't
good is
realize
coming of that.
there's no good of coming out of that, and we don't realize that all that nugget of information that's going through your brain, you might not feel it, but it's actually building connections in your brain. And so when you see something, for example, say if you really subconsciously you saw someone and you thought, wow, like they have such an amazing lifestyle. When you see that again and again and again, when you don't receive something that you want, those thoughts are gonna backtrack,
Yeah,
because you're just gonna feel that you're so inferior, or you're going to feel, oh, why don't I have that? Because you spent so much time building in your
Yeah.
brain that this is what reality is and this is how I should live like.
And although this advice should be taken by us first and foremost,
Yeah,
I think
100%.
this is a very important piece of advice for the younger generations,
Yeah.
because I feel like they get manipulated into things so easily because they're so naive, and like it's unfortunate at times because they can get manipulated into the wrong things,
and it can have a huge detrimental
and
effect.
it's awful because then it's like they're living two different lives on social media and then
there's
in
pressure
reality,
of
and
that
it's
is
like
crazy.
you shouldn't live like that.
Then, like, there's one side of it where, you know, we're the ones following the accounts and we're getting this lifestyle and we're being fed these images, and then perhaps we develop that mentality of life should be this way and it's not, and you know, you may feel bad about yourself in that sense.
Yeah.
But then you also have the other end of the stick where the people who are posting that type of stuff online, perhaps their life isn't like that all the time, but they
Exactly.
might feel the pressure to live up to a certain standard in that sense because they have so many people following them. So I guess in both ways it's sort of like it can have negative effects, and it's the fact that we take it to the extreme. Like, we're always on social media. It's either, you know, one app and then you close that app and then you go
then
on
it's
to
like the
another
next
one and then you go on to the next one. It's just really addictive, and in a way you don't realize how many hours you spend doing that, and obviously that's going to build up in your brain.
Of course.
So I feel like obviously if it was limited, like you had a fun day out, you took one picture and you posted it, and then, you know, you spend about 10 minutes on the social media website and that's it. You go on and you live the rest of your life. Like that in a way is okay because everything in moderation is okay. But it's so hard because it's so easily accessible. Like it's on our phone or it's on our tablet or it's somewhere on the
Yeah,
laptop,
definitely.
anything.
I also feel there's like a culture between friends. So, you know, say for example, you go to a party and then everyone's whipping out their Snapchat and then they're posting pictures and you're just sitting there like, I don't even have Snapchat, but you know, but so I had that app last year and I deleted it, and oh my god, it made such a massive difference because I realized I was looking at people's lives every single day, and even if I just checked the app 1 second ago, I'll do it again, even to refresh it. So I was thinking, whoa, what's going on? And once I deleted it, I was like, there's no need to look at other people's lifestyle. If I really want to meet someone, I'll message them like, let's hang out or let's meet up.
Yeah.
Then I'd value that time, that interaction in real life.
For sure. Like I met up with a friend yesterday and neither of us post that much on social media, and we hadn't talked in like a year because she was my friend from sixth form, but I messaged her and I was like, we should meet up. So we met up yesterday and we just had we ate a meal, we had really good conversation. Neither of us posted about the day on social media because we didn't need to. Like we were enjoying the time that we were in there and then, you know, she left and then I messaged her afterwards. But I think the point of the matter is it's like you don't constantly need to be on social media to have your friends close by. Like I hadn't seen this friend in a year, but after just messaging her and talking to her in real life, we still had the same relationship that we had back in sixth form. So, you know, it's just like you don't necessarily need it.
That's why it's just so, at the same time, it's addicting. Like it's awful, but it's addicting.
But it's
like,
nice to not know about people's lives sometimes, and then to have that moment where you just catch up, like you feel
it's
people
just something like new, and like you don't have to put your whole entire life on social media. Like like who told you to? Kind of, is there a need for it? Like I know some people need an outlet, but maybe there are other outlets.
Yeah, of course. You could do hobbies, you could do you know, so many
just
other
talk
things.
to someone.
Or talk to
like
someone.
you know how you want to tell the whole wide world. Maybe talk to someone instead.
I think that's actually very true because before there wasn't a culture of sharing every private information
there's no
about.
Need for it.
I think we've lost the concept of privacy. We don't know what to keep private and what to keep
it's like
put out in the open.
It's like a personal diary for some people on.
And you don't know who's looking at your posts, and you know, evil eye is real. You know.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the who is looking, who is watching, who is prying in. Like your intentions to post so and so might be clean and good. However, you don't know what kind of people are out there in the world. Yeah,
and I feel like it's really hard because if, say for example, before, I mean, we can understand this because we were a generation before the social media outburst, like before it erupted. So for us, we know that, you know, you have your core friends and you can share personal things with them, and you don't need to share that with the world. They don't need to know. I try to keep myself as private as possible, but you don't need to share all that information with people. And I feel like we're becoming it's like a show-off culture. We just want to display ourselves to the world, and we want to show.
True.
You know, it's like me coming and saying, you know, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm keeping busy and productive. Look at my lifestyle. But it's like, there's no need for that. That information is not going to help anyone. It's not going to benefit anyone. And, you know, you forget to live in the moment. And the second point I wanted to touch upon is when you have too much attachment to social media and you have too many people on your social media, even if it's just like your, say for example, you have 10 friends from university, but they're not really your friends, they're just acquaintances. When you keep adding those people up, it can actually subconsciously become draining. Yeah. Because you wouldn't do that in real life. You wouldn't go and try to find out everyone's lifestyle. Of course. In reality.
Would you really ask them either?
Would you really ask them? You would not. So all that information is not necessary for you anyways.
Yeah. Like social media creates such an illusion for you that you think that it's such a safe place that you can go to. But in reality, that's not it, you know. You should use social media in moderation, not be constantly, like, because genuinely, why do you care about so-and-so's life? Do they care about your life? I don't think so most of the time, personally. But, like, it's just something that you should be careful in what you're posting, what you're saying, because remember, you're going to be held accountable for it as well.
Like, just think twice about it before. Like, just think, does this really need to go out there, or what's the point, I guess, in a way?
Because also, I feel like the communication, we're losing our communication skills. Yeah, we can calculate what we're saying on social media, but we're refining it. Yeah. And I feel that, you know, that's something I've experienced because I'm kind of I'm detaching myself from social media. And so when I want to try to have like pure interactions with people in real life, after 5 minutes when they look at their phone, I feel so disrespected. I don't feel entitled to their time, but I feel very disrespected because I can put that social media away and all that information away, and I'm trying to give my undivided attention to you, but your attention and your mind is so restless that you feel the need to look at the phone when I'm sitting right in front of you. And I feel like we forgot the etiquettes of talking to someone,
of a conversation,
and having a conversation, and how to even continue a conversation. I think that's such a basic thing, and I think that's what's we're trying to fill that gap through social media because we feel like we're talking to so many people at the same time. But that's not a conversation. That's just you talking at people.
Yeah.
And so when someone actually is talking to you, you don't know how to respond.
No, I completely agree.
Very well
It's
said.
that having that undivided attention in a conversation where it's like no constantly checking the phone. Oh, can I post this quickly? Can I just do this? Like, do you know what I mean?
Even like
Genuine conversations.
Yeah, when we were in sixth form, like just like everyone would be talking, but at the same time we'd all be looking at our phones. Like we'd be having a conversation, but we'd be talking like this, and it's just like you can see on Facebook Live, but it's just like it's a bit. I don't know. I feel like when you look at someone, when you talk to them, when you laugh, that type of thing. It's a lot better than just having to stare at your phone all the time. And, I feel like that's gotten better at uni.
It's that pure connection that you have with someone. And it's like, like they're your friend, they're your sister, they're your family. Like, these are people who care about you, who actually want to know your feelings.
Yeah.
Not to the whole wide world, who probably either don't care, who probably will say something disrespectful.
But realistically, like, say if people are going through, no one really looks at it that much. Like, how many times how long do you averagely spend looking at someone's post on Instagram? You probably just double tap it once and then swipe it away. Like, that's just what it is. No one really, unless they're like really close to you or things like that, they're not really gonna take that time out.
I think for me, that's why personally I don't have Instagram.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that deep, so you don't need to take it
to that extent.
Yeah, is what I'm trying to say.
I think for me, like, everyone's on Snapchat, that's why I delete Snapchat, and I have Instagram, I don't let anyone follow me, so.
But I feel like sometimes I feel like I don't know.
For me, Instagram,
your social media is a personal thing.
It should be personal. I think it should be personal. I think, the people that you consider close and
should only have access.
Only have access to you, and that you don't mind them seeing what going on in your life. Like, would you mind telling 10 people about what you're doing at home? Would you go realistically? Would you go and say to 10 people, random people, or even people in your class, or just your cohort, or anyone? Would you go randomly say, "Today I went to
honestly,
to the chicken and chip shop"? Like, it's
how
just
many
strange.
people can actually put their hand up and say that they think constantly about whether or not they should post something before they post it?
It's psychologically disrupting,
and it's so draining because it's just like back and forth. Should I post it? Should I not?
When it comes to that time, you just what caption should I do? Who should I tag? Blah blah blah.
And like, who's gonna see it? What if this person sees it? Oh, what will this happen? Over a post.
Just one
literally, and like the whole day will go by over one little post. Is it really that important?
I feel like our priorities have just shifted so much.
I feel like our generations are just.
But this has become the norm. Like, it's not like it's not normal.
Yeah.
It's very normal.
It's not normal to not have social media.
And to the point where thinking about it, of course you're going to think about it before you're going to post it because other people are going to see 100%. It. But it's like the amount of time that we spend, the amount of thought that we give is shifted so much.
Trying to validate yourself through other people's opinions as well.
I think it's a way of keeping, like, say if you have friends that you're not going to meet in a long time. Yeah. Like, it is a way of keeping in touch, but at the same time, like, you have your phone, like your basic phone. You can message people, you can keep their numbers, that type of thing. It's just, I feel like we go over and beyond. It's become a form of entertainment more than just
I agree.
keeping in touch. It's our replacement for entertainment, I think.
Yeah. Like, who watches TV anymore?
Yeah.
Like, very genuinely.
Because for me, it's just, I think that the most frustrating thing again is that we've lost the etiquettes of conversation. I feel like in the future there's going to be a need to have classes on how to communicate to each other.
No one's going to speak
because no one knows how to speak to each other. No one knows how to carry a conversation. No one knows how to have a raw conversation because all of it is refined on social media. And I think that psychologically surely should have negative effects if you do not know how to have a human interaction, because you're living in a virtual reality.
That's so true. Like, you never actually think of it like that. It's because the amount of time that we spend on our phones and you're sitting with your family members, your friends, etc., and you're having no conversation.
It's also really bad for your eyes. I'm just putting it out there.
No,
the amount of time that you spend and like how close the screen is to your face all the time.
Like, for example, like work, you're already in front of a screen.
Yeah, health-wise, it's not good either. You should go out, get some fresh air. And for your mental health as well, it's really important that you do those types of things.
Definitely. Well, we are coming to a break. So after the break, we will be discussing our main topic today, which is successes and failures. So inshallah, please do join us after the break for that. We hope you enjoyed the first half. If you do have any thoughts, views and opinions, let us know. Please join us in the second half as well. Remember, you can contact us on 07779 481822. You can text on WhatsApp on that number. Or if you'd like to join our discussion, you can call into the studio 01582 481822. Or you can even comment down on our Facebook live stream, because we are on there on the Inspire FM Facebook. So yeah, join us in a few minutes, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Atif Nawaz and you're listening to an Inspire FM podcast.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome back to Sister Speak on Inspire 105.1 FM. I don't know if any of you guys caught that little photography session on Facebook Live.
Oh no, I completely forgot about that.
But indeed we are live.
Yes, we are.
Because I think a few people have commented saying, are you live? But yes, we are live. So please do join in our discussion today. We will be now discussing successes and failures.
Failures, yeah.
So remember, if you want to join in our discussion, 07779 481822 to text on WhatsApp, or you can call in on the studio 01582 481822, or comment on our Facebook live stream. Let us know your thoughts, views and opinions. So first thing is first, what is success?
What is success? Oh.
What does success mean to you, Faiza?
I cannot hear what you're saying, Mariam.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
What does success mean to you, Faiza?
I asked you guys the first question. What is it?
I think it's a very loaded word, you know, and it's difficult to
Okay, what do you
unpack
define success
because
as?
I think success can be defined in many different ways. Maybe true success is when you're just content with what you're doing, because I feel like we discussed in the first half of the show, you know, we were discussing a lot about social media, but I think a lot of the negative effects that come from it is discontent, is what we were really trying to get at. So maybe truly being content, which is something that's quite difficult in this day and age, perhaps, maybe real success. But loads of other people, you know, you can describe success in so many different ways. Success, like, you know, with your position, your academic career, that type of thing. Loads of people see that as success. It depends, I guess. You could get philosophical about it and try and really decide what the true meaning of success is.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think success is quite individual to each person, because, you know, what I deem as success could be completely different to you, because your personal experiences, you face different challenges, so when you overcome them, your successes will be different to mine, because I will face different challenges.
Or is it just conquering a challenge? Is that success?
I think, yeah, I guess that is one way to put it.
Or is it not failing? Is success not failing? Is that what it is?
I don't think success not failing, because I also see not giving up as success.
Is it like when you're at the finish line and you're the first one?
No, I don't agree. I don't think it's at the finish line. I think success is a process. I think I would define success to be a process.
So it's the race itself, not really.
Everyone has their own different definitions.
Yeah,
per se.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Because if you define success to be as a result, then it doesn't highlight the journey or the process or the challenges that you've overcome. And even if you don't reach the finish line, I would deem someone to be successful if they never gave up, or they kept trying and something else came out in their way. So for example, if you wanted a particular job and you didn't get that job, but you received something better, it's not that means you're not unsuccessful. You might be unsuccessful not getting that job, but you're more successful in terms of getting another job. So I think it's the process.
Do you think there could be negative impacts or connotations with success being defined in a particular way?
I definitely think so.
100%.
You know,
categorizing
just
people,
goals, that type of thing, and then that mentality can be quite detrimental.
Like getting through for example, getting through one night of revision is deemed as success for some people, whereas getting the most amazing grade is success for another person.
Yeah.
Whereas someone who went on a really long journey to get somewhere, that's another version of
Of course,
success for
I
someone.
I agree with you.
Like winning something, I don't know, prize, that's success for others, whereas coming as second in place or third in place is success for another person because they never thought they would have gotten that far.
I think it's important to realize that you can't categorize or box in the meaning or definition of success, because it then creates a comparative culture, and
Yes.
that makes you unsuccessful in itself, because you are trying to compare yourself with another person,
Another person.
and they are not you, and therefore they will not experience things the same
Yeah.
way you will.
I hate to do this right now, but
Go
I'm
ahead.
just going to quickly take a detour back to the first half of the show where we were discussing social media.
Because it fits in with that mindset.
Yeah, and also, I think I'm saying your name right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Seher Alicia, I think that's the name. She says, Salam all. The reason many people are on social media is because they want attention. It's measured by the number of likes, views, retweets, comments, etc. Remember,
Other words, success.
remember, you don't have to rely on others for your confidence and self-esteem. Disengage from seeking attention and love yourself first. Have a good day, everyone.
That's
Thank
very
you.
deep.
Thank you so much.
I hope you have a
for,
good day too.
Yeah, inshallah.
Commenting your thought for that.
I think that's true.
It's true.
I think it's, because you post something, but why are you posting it? Because you want to see how many people looked at your post,
Yeah.
or
How many people liked it,
And that's
yes.
why you have to refine the way you put that post, because you wanna maximize your likes, or you wanna maximize the attention you receive.
Yes.
But again, that's detrimental, because you're feeding off of that attention.
Yeah.
That is, to be honest, no one's gonna look at that post
Yeah.
twice. They may like that post, but they didn't even look at it.
But to end that, it's true. Disengage from seeking attention and love
Yeah,
yourself
love
first.
yourself first.
That could be another successful
If
thing.
you are content with yourself, many people's goals actually in life is just
Self-care.
is to eventually end up loving themselves.
I think that's the biggest.
It's very
It's
hard.
like such a long
Challenge.
process.
Because I
and
feel like
struggle.
we're born into a society where loving yourself comes from the love of others.
Yeah.
It's very much based around the love of others, and you don't
agree.
necessarily need that, especially as Muslims. We don't need others, is the point. Like, obviously the ummah is extremely important, that type of thing, but your connection with God is what's most important. You personally, what other people say about you or what they're weighing in isn't important. It's about you as the person and
Yeah,
what
100%.
you're doing with your relationship with God in that sense.
Because if you seek attention from other people and you weigh your successes or your tribulations with people, of course you're always going to be uneasy, because people are temporary and it's not constant.
Yeah.
Whereas Allah and His love for you and His mercy for you and everything that comes in between is constant. It's something that's eternal. And so when you seek it from people, you're always going to feel that there's a gap, because it can never be fulfilled. And I feel like you become a slave of people.
Yeah.
When you become a slave of social media, a slave of people's attention,
And people's like trying to validate.
Your
you,
validation.
looking for their.
you are
Like-
always going to be seeking for more. Whereas
Yeah.
if you truly dedicate yourself and you become a slave of Allah, you become free from being a
Yeah.
slave of everything
Like, don't
else.
people please. Don't be a doormat.
But I feel
Like-
like that comes in line with the main topic in terms of
Yeah.
success. If you try and live by other people's standard of success, that is going to negatively impact you
Yeah,
as a
100%.
person, because their levels, like
yeah.
you said, their levels of success are different. But I feel like in the society we live today, success is very measurable. Like
Yeah.
it's to do with certain things that you've achieved in that
Yeah,
sense.
But
Like
it's
you've got them.
definitely to do with what people's perceptions are, though.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that's what they see as success. So they'll it seems to be like a what is it?
A circle.
Yeah, as in it's what everyone kind of perceives it as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Because-
very arbitrary because, it could be the complete opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just dependent on what
But
people are
it's
thinking
just
at that time.
Everyone's version of success
Success.
at that point in time
Yeah.
is that.
It's like people who don't want to go to university automatically in some cultures.
They're like a failure.
They're a failure. They're deemed as unsuccessful. Whereas
yeah.
and you can't see the potential because you deem success as someone who finished A levels. They must go to university.
Yeah,
so if someone says
definitely.
no, I don't want to go to university,
They
you
don't
can't
fit in that box.
they don't fit in that box we've created, and we don't see their idea of success because we haven't given them the opportunity to show
Yeah.
that, or we don't see the potential because we're so rigid in thinking that success is one route.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then what is failure?
I think giving up on yourself.
Do you think
Is it the
failure
same thing
exists,
though?
though?
Everyone has their different
Yeah.
perceptions.
Do you
I
think
don't know.
failure exists as a concept? Because we're talking about success and the fact that, success may not, it's not one
I would say it's a
specific thing.
lesson.
Yeah.
It's very,
A lesson
wishy-washy.
experience.
Yeah,
You
so
can learn
it's-
from it. It's a
it's-
learning curve.
Every single, things that people may class as failure. For example, you were given the example of not getting a specific job. But would
That's not failure.
that
Yeah.
experience be classed as a failure? Not necessarily, because you've learned so much out of it and you can apply it.
I think it's the way we perceive failure. So if you
Do you
always
think it's just a construct
I
that's
think
been
it's a
made?
construct. I think
Definitely a construct.
if you're an optimistic person, you're a positive person, you won't see not getting the job as failure. You'll see, oh, this is experience. So rather than seeking every single obstacle as and the outcome as failure when
Yeah.
you don't get it, if you see it as a lesson learned, that's another positive. That in itself is success. So you can mask
Yeah.
failure
Yeah, of
as
course.
success because you learned something. So you developed an extra step.
However, at the same time, what we were saying before, how it seems to be like a social construct that, failure is this. Because when we were young, it was like, here's the winners, here's the losers.
Yeah.
That phrase of the losers basically coins that term of a failure.
But I feel like they, even if they didn't say, here's the losers, you guys are all winners, but even just having the concept of winner makes it seem like some people are ahead of others.
Yeah.
So you're right in the sense that from a young age we are given these constructs which we don't necessarily need. Like kids won't, or maybe they will. Like we're quite competitive in terms of our nature as humans,
100%,
no?
yeah.
Don't you think?
We
But then
definitely
what
are.
would you
It is human nature.
alternatively what would you say? So if you
Good try.
try to create a competitive culture, so you want children to exceed their own expectations, how would you award a child that did the best without disenfranchising the child that
Yeah,
didn't
exactly.
do very well? It's very.
Do you think it's just
it's not tangible? It's very difficult.
Yeah.
So there is success and failure.
Ooh. But maybe it's different because as we go through life though, that's when you're adults, that's the society you live in. You guys are graduates, you know how competitive the
Yeah.
job
Not
market
yet,
is.
but inshallah.
Inshallah. But that you know how,
It's
but or
very
even just applying
competitive.
to university, everything
Yeah, but
is a competition.
I feel
it
like
seems.
it's so competitive. Each field that you'll go into, like I know my field 100%. It's so competitive.
any field you go
Literally.
into, and it's usually only the best that get taken.
But that's
And
a
the
lie.
others don't even get an opportunity because it's so much of a lottery. It doesn't even matter if you're the best. Sometimes it's just a complete lottery,
Literally.
because everyone's of the same standard. But that's what I'm
Quite
saying. Like
interesting.
once
Quite
you're in adult life, it all seems like it's a competition.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do?
I feel like
I
the
agree.
thing is that if you don't get something that you really wanted, it's not a failure. It's more of a pick yourself back up. You're going to be okay. You can move on from this. What's the next step? What's the next
Definitely.
step? Keep going, because that's literally what I did.
As hard as it is to
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
because I
And
can
you have to have
also say from
patience.
experience, you have to have a lot of patience. Because
Just
you
pick
could want
yourself
something
up,
so
yeah.
bad and it could not happen
And
that
it literally
way.
just gets.
But that will feel like a failure to you.
Yeah.
Like
I think in
you'd
this room,
feel.
all of us experienced it in one
Yeah.
shape or
One
another.
way
Even
or
this,
another,
in
yeah.
this 1 year alone, all of us wanted something. All of us wanted something, and we didn't get that, but we got something better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of faith, it actually helps because I feel like
Inshallah, it's coming.
no, even you in terms of a
Yeah.
university, like,
Yeah.
So, I would say that I think what makes it better is when we have faith because you know that Allah's planned something better. So that's that comfort. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have that faith to let me know that, I exhausted all my resources and tried my level best to achieve what I wanted to do. If I didn't get it, that means Allah's planned something better. And I think there's comfort in knowing that. And I think we should take
Definitely.
comfort in knowing that, if you tried hard and it didn't work your way, that means Allah's plan something better. He's the best of planners. So you plan something and it didn't align with his. That means obviously something better's coming.
But we
believe
plan
in that.
and Allah plans, and it's having that faith. That's why I think it's so important that if you don't get something that you really wanted, there is something better for you that is coming.
And you won't realize it until
it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's just having that patience. I feel like we all have our different versions of failure, what we see as a failure, living up to people's expectations, not being able to reach certain expectations of ours, of other people's. But at the end of the day, have that patience, have that confidence to pick yourself back up after this learning curve, this like the try, if that makes sense. Just pick yourself up and get that confidence. Try something else. Try again. Try something else.
But I think it's because of this concept of success and failure that we have ingrained in our heads, that when failure in that sense, when something doesn't work out as we planned it to be, it's so difficult to get back up because you feel like you failed. And failure is such, like, if you take it personally and you really have that concept of failure in your head, it's such a hard thing to deal with because you feel like you failed, like you feel like you are inferior or you've lost or you're not as good as the others. And there's so many different things going around in your head, and because that type of concept and that type of society exists, it's so much harder to pick yourself up and be like, okay, you know what, this is a learning curve, that type of thing, because in your head you feel like I messed it up or I failed or all of that type of stuff.
It's because you think the best is selected, or you weren't good enough. You weren't good enough to get that
You're
job.
inferior, and that's why you didn't make it. That's the type of image, I guess. And I think it's a problem with ourselves if we take it that way, because that's not necessarily the case. Even if you fail or you don't make it, it's not a failure because you went through that whole experience. You learned so much from it and you know how to conduct yourself. And in the future, if something like that were to happen again where you wanted something and you didn't get it, you now know how to cope with it.
Yeah, 100%. But do you guys think that the success and failure they're only applicable to certain aspects of our life, or is it like success and failure for our entire life?
I think it applies to, the way we've done it is that it applies to everything. Because you can have a successful family, can't you? Like people,
but
for some people, that's their value.
Of a successful family?
Well, exactly. For some people, that's what they value their success as, is if their family is successful.
Like in the future.
Exactly. But then that success is different because it means that perhaps their sons and daughters are in good universities or in good positions, their husband or wife does a good job, that type of thing.
So you think it's applicable to all aspects of your life?
I think it's how we apply it.
And very much so. It depends how.
Our lives and how. And I think the wrong thing is to impose your idea of success on someone else, or think that someone else is inferior because they don't match to your definition of success. I think that's where the trouble comes from. And I also agree with Lamisa that just because you might not achieve, or not even achieve, you might not get that one thing that you work towards, it doesn't mean you failed anything. It just means that you're redirected to a different path.
But it's so hard to get sucked into that perceptions of what success and what failure is, because then again, our generation, social media is if I'm being honest, it's the one of the main pillars of our life, as unfortunate as it sounds to say, but it's true.
Don't you think it's a judge of our success?
Literally,
and failure as
it
well?
measures our success,
but
as well.
I had a question, but it was a good question.
Is it there?
About social media.
Okay, you guys continue talking. I will get back to you.
as in you wake up, it's phone, social media. Yeah, she's got it again, everyone.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
But in terms of if we didn't have failure, how would we measure success though? Surely we need failure in order to measure success.
I think it's how we take failure as. How
if we get something,
we amplify it way too much and we exaggerate way too much. So I think.
So you're saying we could fail, but it doesn't.
It doesn't have to be personally towards you. So if you fail, it doesn't mean you're inferior. It just means maybe you need to gain more knowledge, or you need to gain more experiences, and it's just a different route that you have to take in that sense. Otherwise, if there was no failure, then you wouldn't know how to take the next step, because you wouldn't see that as a learning curve.
Interesting.
I think we kind of need one for the other though.
Yeah.
So,
I think
but I think what Mariam
Yeah.
is saying is definitely right in the sense that, okay, maybe some things could be classed as failure. It depends what you class as failure. But if that is seen as a fail to you, how much are you going to let it impact your life
I
and your
think
decision making?
It's
in
how
the
you
future?
experience failure.
and
at
how
that
you're going to
point
take
in
that
life,
experience
yeah.
and use it.
Yeah,
in the
because
future.
of course, as soon as the failure hits, unfortunately, you're going to feel a certain way. You're going to act a certain way. It's going to hit hard. It's going to hit deep. But it's that I feel like the success in that failure is where you gather your stuff together. Like you pick yourself up, pick yourself together, move on. You know, you've overcome that hurdle. Onto the next one, and keep going and keep going.
And then
Yeah.
you make those failures into successes.
Literally.
Because you need that.
Because you never gave up. So
Yeah.
that's where the success comes from, is that process.
So it's quite, I don't know, it's a strange thing because even though we can see success and failure as, you know, we all see it as different things.
Like this is one and
Yeah.
this is the other.
I
But
don't think
on-
we should make it polarized.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
all view success in our own ways. We all view failure in our own ways. What's failure to me is not failure to you.
That's very true.
However, social media seems to, this is failure, this is success. You know, and it's kind of like if you don't measure up to this, then like there's no point.
Yeah.
I think we're trying to satirize how success is, and that's why we feel so inferior. So, you know, we think that at a certain age you should be doing certain things, and if you don't get to that level, then you are a failure because you haven't reached those milestones.
That's another thing. It's
You haven't
the
reached
age
the
thing
miles-
as well.
You haven't reached the milestones that everyone else around you is achieving or have achieved, or the community expects from you that you should have surpassed these
Yeah.
milestones. What are you doing? Why are you so behind? And I think that is a very negative way to encourage your own self to personally develop, because you have your own journey. And I think that people who, you know, just because you achieve something according to society's understanding of what is successful in each stage of your life, just because you've experienced that doesn't mean someone else who hasn't reached that yet is in any way, shape or form unsuccessful. Perhaps you went through all those milestones and you experienced it in a very diluted way, but perhaps someone have gone through so many redirections, and they can perhaps achieve something greater than you because they've learnt patience and they learnt so many skills that are transferable in that process.
Can you be successful without failing?
Can you be successful?
I was going to ask that question because if you've had a whole journey where you're just typically success, is that truly success? You haven't tasted failure. That's your norm.
Yeah.
So what's that's really my success? Because I feel like a success is I don't know, to me the connotations with the word success indicates something like it's the final big win in that type of way.
I agree.
So in that sense, what success have you really done if you haven't failed and learned from that experience?
It's like the people that almost get everything their way, and they achieve, like how you said, they achieve everything that they set their mind to, but then, you know, there's going to come a point where they don't get it their way, and how they're going to react to that. It's, you know, I feel like failure does lead to failure. You need failure to lead you to success. It's a process. But if you, like Namisa said, if you keep if success is it's a one route thing for you, it's difficult when you have a slight
deviation in that sense. Do you think success is based upon happiness typically? Because I feel like a lot of the things, perhaps let's say society calls success, it's called success because it's a good thing, or that person is happy from it. But realistically, a person might go through all these steps. Let's take a typical example, becoming a doctor, right? A person might become a doctor. They may not be happy in their job after having done all of that, because it's the typical thing that we see as success. Maybe not so much now. I'm just taking very general example and saying like one career path or a job or something. They may not be happy in the end. So are they successful after having done all of that?
I think so.
No, I don't agree. Because if you are say if society has pushed you to become a, like, for let's go with Lamisa's,
if they're being forced,
if they've been pushed you to become
then
a
it's
doctor,
different.
Well, not
and
even forced. Like they've just decided to follow that path because
they've
everyone
decided
else
to
has
follow
said.
that path, but they're
But there's a
unhappy.
reason,
There's
though.
a reason
Why
why
would
that shapes them, and like, but why aren't they happy? You know, you have to ask yourself, you know, what when you pursue a career or you're doing something, it should bring you some sort of satisfaction. And personally, for me, it should bring some sort of positive impact, because that in itself gives you positive satisfaction.
Yeah.
Helping people always makes you feel good, right? So if you do something and you're doing it on the base of other people's idea of success, and you're doing it for the reason of other people's validation, of course you're not going to be happy, because your whole entire journey was based on other people. It wasn't based on you and what you wanted and how you felt. You didn't align with what you feel good with.
Yeah.
So why do you say that you like perhaps they are
okay,
still successful?
if they were forced into it, okay, then that's something else. But if they were just like, just like they kind of just went with it, there's a
Go with the
reason
flow,
why
yeah.
you would kind of go with it.
Ooh.
Think about it. Like,
So you think there's something like underneath
it's that
there?
underneath that, because at the end of the day, I feel like to accomplish something like that, you have to be a little bit proud of yourself. Okay, I mean, it's with anything.
Yeah.
But what if you lost more than you gained in that process? What if you lost?
There's always good in everything.
There's always good in everything. But for example, say I say I just went because I didn't know, I was aimless, and I took a degree in teaching, and it's not really something I really want to do, but
But then
You just
why
ended up there.
I just ended
why
up there.
did you go with it in the first place?
Because
When
I was
so many
aimless.
others-
Some
Because
people
I was
just do that,
aimless.
though.
Because I was aimless, right? So
Yeah.
you know, I know people that taken degrees because they didn't know what they wanted to do, and we're coming to the end of the
Yeah,
show.
we're coming to the end of the show, everyone. I think overall,
Define.
yeah, don't know what I'm saying there. We define success and failure in our own ways. We see it in our own ways. And I think you need to make that clear distinction between what other people see as success and failure and what you see, because you will get sucked into that, I need to be like this because this is what success is. I need to be like this because I don't want to fail, because that is what failure is. So overall, I think it's that clear distinction. Don't mix up your expectations and your reality with other people's, because remember, you're different. You're not on the same route. No two lives are the same. You're completely on your own path. Okay? So anyways, thank you so much for listening and joining in our discussion. Join us next week, inshallah, same time, 6 to 7. Thank you so much for tuning in. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Why not tune in to our live stream at inspirefm.org and follow and subscribe to our social media platforms at Inspire FM Luton.